We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Actually, that's what she said, Dave.
I know. I wonder how many things she gets credit for saying. I think a lot.
I don't know. You like my new studios?
Yeah, it looks like the Towering Inferno.
Yes. I got a warm hearth in the background.
Is it a fireplace?
No, it's a lamp.
Like a lava lamp or something?
Yeah, it's a lamp with an orange shade. It was better than having a regular light right above my head shining in the camera.
There you
So
go.
I've been asked to take to a different room tonight because my son is you didn't hear his answer. My son is preparing to leave for college tomorrow. So
Is there logistics going on downstairs?
yeah, they're getting stuff because he's going to drive up tomorrow, and then me and the wife are driving up Saturday with all his stuff in the van. So he's got to get all his stuff downstairs, so I know what to put in the van on Saturday. Go up to the Grand Old State College.
What's that town? Raleigh?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Is it in Raleigh?
Yep. Right next to. So we have three major universities within like a 20-mile radius: Raleigh, NC State, UNC, and Duke are all right there in the.
Is that the triangle?
Yep.
The triangle of love.
Yeah, so it'll be quite busy up there this time of year. We plan on making a few more football games this year since we only have one in a college that, well, my other daughter's virtual, so she won't be attending the campus of Liberty, but
Oh, the Appy State one is off to Liberty, or
yes, virtually though. So she's
she's doing an
here.
MBA?
No, master's in I always forget something to do with child psychology, but
Oh,
so
is she living somewhere?
yeah, here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with a dog, thankfully. That's
Okay.
we love it.
Well, we're playing the same game. Our youngest is she finished her summer camp duty, so to speak,
He said duty.
and we got some good news there. The guy, when they got her resume, they first were taken like, why is she applying? She's way overqualified, and they didn't think they could get her. And then her exit interview, they said, "We're just so happy that you were here, and we'd love to offer you the assistant director's job next year if you'll come back."
Oh,
So
where was this at?
it's a church camp up in Northwest Pennsylvania,
Okay. So
and
Pennsylvania.
she's a grad student, getting her MBA, and so she could work a summer and it'd be good. So yeah, it's a long story, but she's excited. So we're trying to get her into some sort of lodging, some housing. Hopefully tonight we'll hear a good story. She had an interview with a couple girls that she's
Isn't
trying
it?
to move in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so my daughter in London, that's been her, I guess, the biggest issue. They're having a real housing shortage in London over there, and it's extremely hard to find a place to live. So um I feel blessed that she has a current roommate, but he's moving out and she's going to move with him, but doesn't like this part of town she's gone to. Anyhow, long story short, like you said, it's very hard for young kids to get a place to live.
Unlike us that we lived in slums.
Well, I made a garage into into a room, and then our friend Sam, of course, his parents gave up their condo there on the outskirts of Orlando. So I picked up I lived in a den of that condo.
Was that after the girls' garage?
Yes, the girls. I went from the fraternity house to next door. I shared a room. Maybe it might have been Mr. Matt there, and then, geez, I don't know, Dave. I've gone so many. I don't know the order. It
Well,
was in.
I remember I took over your job at the house and moved into your
Yeah.
old room. And then next, I don't remember you having an interim space between the garage where you went to the
Yeah,
girls.
it
I
might have
thought
been.
that
Might have
I
been
thought
right
that was a
after.
pretty sweet gig.
I
That
It worked out well for me. I mean, the worst part was there was no air conditioning in there, right? And the heat of summer there in Orlando, Florida. So it got a little crispy in there on some
I didn't realize
evenings.
that. All I remember is you had figured out some way to jimmy the garage door full of insulation or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I built a wall. I built a false wall in front of the garage door, and then used the the track for the wheels down
Yeah.
the side as my closet hanger.
Yeah.
So so it
I
worked
think
out.
I
Yeah.
I think I spent the night down there one night after
Who knows?
you slept with a TV on.
Yes, I do that everywhere. I sleep now. I was talking to someone about this because if I wake up, I start thinking, and once I start thinking, I'm up. So now I put a little earbud in at night, and I listen to a sitcom the entire night.
I
That
think
way,
we
if
had
I
been I'm sure we'd been out drinking somewhere that night and I don't know why I crashed at your place back then. I
probably
thought I
because you
lived at
couldn't walk home or
well,
something.
that's possible. I mean, I thought I lived at the house the whole time. I don't remember
That's why I find that strange. So because you probably slept on the couch or something there one time.
yeah, I think it was the night we were doing the slide,
Oh, down the staircase.
the stair
Yeah.
races or whatever it was, and maybe I was injured or something. I couldn't walk back.
Yeah,
Or
that's why.
that was the night. Yeah, that was the night I put the guys on the front door with the 55-gallon drum of water, and I couldn't go outside.
You know, I tell you, speaking of that place, I came home one night and a guy got up off the couch. It wasn't anybody I knew or the girls knew. He
He
had,
just stopped by.
well, I guess he was looking for a buddy's play. He was not a college student either. He was like a bum. And I guess the slider was unlocked and he just unslid and started sleeping on the couch. So I chased him out. He was scared crapless because I think I woke him up out of a stupor. He's like, "Oh man, I don't belong here," kind
That
of
was
thing.
clearly different times. You know,
Yes.
you think about this. I don't know how we never got arrested for the stuff we were doing either. That was the dumpster fires. That was the
I'm
best.
I don't remember that, so I must not
Well,
have been part of that
I
one.
think it was Tommy O.
Oh
If he's ever
wow.
listening, he's got to weigh in. But I think Tommy O had a specialty advertising job
Hmm.
where he and his I gotta be careful in case he's listening. His wife's
Yeah,
listening.
yeah, in case someone knows him.
Yeah, but his some of his clientele, let's just say, back in the day, people smoked, and so he sold those matchbook covers.
Oh, that's
Um,
right. That's right.
and you would go to, remember you go to a place and you'd always collect them. If you didn't smoke, you'd collect matchbook covers wherever you went. Well, I never realized how much those, the people did that. But back in the day, everyone smoked, and so he had a job that he did. He had a client, I think, that he sold, and it was a blim. The print was off, and they messed it
Right.
up. So the guy refused it, and it was like 10,000 matchbooks. It was some ridiculous amount of like, cases of these things, and he brought them to the sig house, and we're like, Tommy, what the hell are we gonna do with these things? He
So you
goes, I
started
know we got.
flicking matches at each other, I'm sure.
So I think about half of them ended up in the dumpster, and then someone had the genius idea to light it.
Yeah.
And so all I can remember is looking out. I was the house manager at the time, and it was one of those nights where everyone's just kind of bouncing around trying to find something to do, and we found it. And I look out, and it's like the towering inferno. This flames like 6,000 feet in the air. In Orlando, Orange County or Seminole County Fire Department rolls, and they roll up on us like, okay, which one of you guys did this? We're like, did what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. I was
Fire?
here
What?
when I got here.
So they're out there dousing the dumpster. We're like, I don't know. What are you talking about? We're just sitting up here having a couple beers.
Oh man.
How did we
Hey,
not get arrested?
I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't be arrested for that. So speaking of school, did
Yeah.
it start for you? Did the
Yeah, we
Floridians?
started. How about that? We're back.
All right.
The
How many
kids are,
how many days have you had with the children now?
well, let's rephrase that question.
How many days have you been teaching
Thank
live
you.
students?
What day did they come in? What is today? Wednesday? Yeah,
Yes.
our county started on Tuesday. I think everybody
Okay.
else started on Monday, but we like to push things out a little further. So They came in on Tuesday. So what's today? Wednesday? Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like it was 15 seconds ago.
Yeah. So we've had them 2 days. It feels like a week, but yeah, we've had them yesterday and today. We've got a whole orientation schedule that we do with them to get them up to speed. And then Friday, I'm taking off and flying to Chicago.
Yeah. Well, do you do that move where you come into the classroom first day and back in the day it would have been a piece of chalk. Now I guess it's like a Sharpie or a whiteboard marker, and you write out MRTHEUS and you underline it and you go, it's Mr. Theus. It's not Mr. Genius. It's not Mr. Penis. It's Mr. Theus.
Was that an Animal House or
I
something?
don't know. I was trying to come up with funny name that kids would come up with for your last name, and I thought, oh my God.
I do write it on the board. I don't do that little dialogue, but most of them know me. Obviously they've got their schedule obviously as well. But
Right.
the cute thing is the little seventh graders. So the seventh graders are coming over from the elementary school, and they're all lost. And they don't know what they're doing.
What grade
And
do you teach?
I got seventh and eighth graders.
All right. And does it go to ninth as well?
No, we don't do that.
Just
Our
two
schools,
grades. Okay.
yeah, but next year they're building a new building on two of our campuses. Next year we'll have sixth graders. So it'll be, I guess, I don't know what they call it, junior high or middle school or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it'll be 6, 7, and 8, and then the high school gets 9, 10, 11, and 12.
That's oh no, what do we do here?
It
I don't
wasn't
know.
that way when I was a kid. We had 7, 8,
No.
9, and
Yep.
then 10, 11, 12.
That's how mine was. But here they do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 here as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm with you. We didn't go to middle school till seventh grade.
And we called it junior high, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's 6 half dozen the other. What are you gonna do?
I was the Panthers. What were you?
Falcons, Conway Falcons.
Really? I was a Ormond Beach Panther, man.
I always thought they tried to name it after the letter of the school, but Conway Falcon, Ormond Beach Panther, Boone Brave. What were you in high school?
Buccaneer.
What was the name of the school?
Daytona Beach High School, Buccaneers.
Oh.
And our opposing high school was Daytona Beach Sea Breeze, and they were the Crabs. So
Were they really crabs?
yeah, crabs. We used to say Sea Breeze has crabs, stuff like that. Yeah, of course you replace B with F, and that was our nickname back, right? So
How creative that is.
yeah, exactly.
Impulsively so. Okay.
We didn't have many poets in the Daytona Beach school system, so
Yeah. Well, there you go.
That's what we came up with.
All right. Well, for those who know, no. All right. Well, so I want to give a shout out to our buddy Danny Shepard. Doink. Well, can we call him that, Doinker? I don't like it.
I don't know if he likes that or not, to be honest with you.
I don't want to get into the origin.
I always said it backwards, which was recnoid.
Recnoid. Well, that's probably close to what it means. I don't know. Danny Shepard, let's not pick on him. He's a great guy. So
I enjoyed seeing him. I wish I would have been part if I knew he was going to hold court at your hotel that
at the after hours.
Yes, I would have stopped by for sure.
So we would have needed a hand truck to get you across.
I would have maybe pulled a Dave Theus and slept on the couch there in the lobby of the hotel.
I think I had a sofa up there. Anyway, so Danny Shepard, for those of you who don't know, he's a fraternity brother of ours, and he is a fellow educator. And I got a text from him today, and he's been doing this a long time, but there's something. He's such a cool guy. He said, I guess today was his first day. So first day in the books, year 12 at my middle school, and 17 years in education. So first of all, congratulations, Danny, for lasting that long. And you can tell by looking at his classroom. He's got pictures of his classroom.
Oh, okay. He teaches history?
He teaches American history, and he's got banners or pennants from UCF. I don't see He's got stuff from the Dallas Cowboys.
Of course. Him and
Pictures of looks like
80%
his.
of America.
Yeah, I told him he needs to hang a white cross and a paddle up there too, but he didn't have any of this. That'll give you have some explaining to do on that. But he looks like he's got maybe a Betsy Ross flag or an early flag. He's got a bunch of stuff, and you can tell that he takes, a teacher's room says a lot about the teacher. And so you can tell that he takes pride in his work, and he's just beaming in his picture to start off his new class. So I want to say props to Danny Shepard for being a great committed educator, because people like that we need
You
in
know,
our school system.
I think about the decorating room. I'd be okay with that if I knew I was going to stay in the same room, right? But
Well,
they switch, well, up here at least, they switch them so much that I'd be like, I'm not putting anything up because I don't have to move anything.
well, and I've seen that happen. I think I don't know if they don't have tenure anymore once you get to where they can't fire you.
All right.
But I don't understand why they move rooms around. They can't do it. I think they could, I guess. My room is designated as a lab, and
Yeah.
so all the computers and stuff. So they would get rid of me first before they move the room around. But I was telling him my room is stark compared to his. I've got some stuff for FBLA on the wall, but I do have brand new computers, which was actually pretty cool. Um, but anyway, Danny, great job. If you're listening, I'm so proud of you, and it's actually been very cool for me as a new teacher to have him. And also, I think Alan's wife Anna is a teacher,
All right.
and we've talked before. There's someone else's
Is it our super fan?
our super fan.
Oh my God. How quickly do you forget? Who'd you meet in Orlando? At your FPLA event?
Oh, he's a teacher too. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Jeez.
Well, I was thinking fraternity, and you had me messed up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's a teacher, and then what's his first name again?
Chris.
Chris. And hey, Chris, hope you're having a great start of your new year. Kim, I think Charles Bell's wife is a teacher, I think, at a private school, but it's okay. She's still teaching.
Still
So
counts.
we got a lot of teachers in the ranks. Some nurses too. Can't forget about
Yeah.
our nurses.
My
Sylvia.
wife.
Oh, your wife's a nurse too. Yeah. How
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't want to get down this path, but it's actually been fun to have someone to talk to and share, commiserate. So anyway, let's move on. This is boring as heck.
You commiserated?
Well, last year toward the end, we were sharing.
Yeah. Well, it's less like the kids. You count down the days to last. I always tell people in my office. I said 8, 10 more years, and I'm out of here.
Where are you going?
I'm retiring
Why?
because I don't want to work. Well, I don't want to do that for work. Let's put it that way. I'd rather do something I like, but it probably pays a lot less. So I will do that instead. My goal would be to pick up with a small utility organization outside the Knoxville area that does fiber optics and just kind of handle things for them. So
Do you
never
think
know.
about that? Do you think, because I ran into a fellow educator over the summer just before we came back, and he and I are close in age, and he's been a principal. He's the guy that's he's going to finish out as a PE teacher. I think it's a smart move. But I wasn't sure if he was coming back, and
Oh, okay.
I said, hey, you coming back? And he said, yeah, I got 5 more years. I'm gonna do 5 more years. And he was, when he said that, it put it in perspective for me. I was like,
Yeah.
5 years. I could see myself doing 5 more years. I'll be 60. How do you do that? Would I be 60? I'm 61 in September. So if I start the clock 5 more years after, I'll be 66.
Yeah. Yeah. It just depends. Again, it's all comes down to what's going on in life, right? No one knows what's going to be here in 6 years, right?
We could be dead.
Yeah. Or asteroid could hit us.
I'm hoping for the asteroid.
Oh yeah.
Give us something to talk about. That's a big hole over there. When I was a kid, that hole wasn't there.
Oh, I actually have I got another funny name for the kids to call you at school. And see if you know that this is a real word. Mr. Weenus.
Weenus.
Yes. Are you
Is that
familiar
a
with that?
character?
Should I make that the word of the week?
Is this a body part?
Yes.
Is that the thing on your nose?
No. Let's ask Alexa.
It's some part of your skin somewhere. It's between something and something else. It better not
So,
be the other one.
no, no.
It ain't that, is it?
Ask Alexa.
Alexa, where is your weenus?
Today, Venus is 66.98 million miles away from the sun.
She ain't playing your game.
Alexa, where is your weenus?
Today, Venus is 66.98 million
Alexa,
miles
stop.
away from the sun.
You get
Spell
real.
it. Spell it.
Hold on, let's start this. Alexa, define weenus.
Hmm.
How do you spell it?
I'm guessing WENUS.
Alexa, define WENUS.
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, weenus, or weenies or weenus, is a slang word for the excess or loose skin at the joint of one's elbow, which is technically referred to as old crannel skin.
Or
What?
crannel.
Oh, I thought she said old kernel skin.
Well, that too.
I was trying to figure out.
Weenus.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna make that the word of the week. But Mr. Weenus. That's what we're gonna call you.
I don't think that's acceptable. That's not in our conduct.
It's not a bad word. It's not a bad word.
It's not, but it sounds subject.
It could be misconstrued.
Okay.
Do you have a story you'd like to share, or I can find something else to
No, the only thing I've got coming up is I've talked about teachers and Danny, and the first week of school. You know, in my previous line of work in the financial services, for example, same thing with furniture. The thing that made it unique was it was never the same issue every day. It was never the same. I mean, in the broad scope of things, it really was the same problems, people's financial, difficulty or challenges or whatever they're trying to do. But there was a broad, we painted with a broad brush of ideas. And so someone would come to you on Monday and have this problem, maybe retirement, or someone would want to talk about insuring against a risk or how's their portfolio. So there's always a various different scenarios under the umbrella of financial services. In teaching, now that this is my third year at the school, I've noticed I've got what I call muscle memory. And so I knew this is what teachers did, but it makes sense. So when you teach last year and you have the same class again, you're only smart if you just remember or keep the same lesson plans,
Did you happen to do that?
Oh yeah. So
I imagine you got to file your lesson plans, right? So they
well,
have them.
I do, but there's this thing called Google Classroom, and we're a Google Suite, which I can't stand, but they have these things called Google Classroom. And so this past year, I made a really detailed effort to specifically detail every assignment. And then now I have a historical record of every assignment that I did by the week and how long it took and so forth. So I was stressing out a little bit toward the end of last week, getting all my stuff organized. We got a bunch of stuff. We got to do compliance. I got to take all these videos you got to watch and, all that
We
stuff.
do the same thing in the private sector too,
No, I remember. I mean, all that stuff you kind of have to get out of the way. But then you got to plan your lesson plans. Well, then I started to stress out a little bit, but then I realized, wait a minute, I've got muscle memory. I've done this before. And so here we are.
You're all done for the whole year, huh?
Well, I'm just going to open up my Google Classroom from last year and then just copy and paste the same assignment.
So you better hope no kid figures out how to hack it.
Well, there's no
tests or anything.
Yeah, there's tests, but there's no answers.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could get ahead of it, but whatever.
Oh,
So I'm excited for that, but I still have energy to, it's not like you just push and play, set it out there.
But that gives you that's in your toolbox though, right? If you hit a period where you just don't have time to plan or whatever, you have that as an option.
A very dear friend of mine who was a 20-year educator, she told me that year 3 is when things start to make sense.
All
Is
right.
once you've been a teacher, your 3rd year is when you develop that muscle memory, and so you're not stressing out like you were your 1st year or even your 2nd year. And so what it allows me to do is be a better teacher too. I know what's coming, and I know how to present it and how to do it, and I can add on features that make it even a better experience. So I'm actually looking forward to that part, and I feel
Okay.
very confident that I know what I'm doing.
And you're
But it
so
is
secure in it, you're gonna take off Friday. So,
Well, that part is weird. I've been 34 years self-employed, and I love to work. And so taking off of work it's not in my lexicon, but I shared with my principal, and she said, Dave, you didn't plan the wedding. You go. That's what we have those days. You should, their whole mindset is go. If
right, right.
you need, and my mindset is no, stay home and, stay at work. But it's a different philosophy, and
So
I'm
you're like,
okay
no,
with it.
really, tell me I have to work.
Well, I just, I'm wired that way.
These are the in-laws, right? This time,
Yeah, this is my
right,
wife's nephew.
right. So,
It's gonna be
uh,
fun. Chicago,
Windy City.
the Windy City, Chi-town.
You gonna go see the Bean?
I think the place we're going is right near there.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
we're going
a
to stay at
very nice
the
park.
University Club
Oh, you go
in the
see
city.
the Shed Museum or
Now
the
we're not doing
aquarium?
touristy stuff. That just happens to be the workup week. In fact, they're doing it now. To the Democratic National Convention starts on Sunday, the day that we fly out.
Oh, yeah, it's in Chicago. I didn't
It's in
know that.
Chicago.
Oh, I didn't
Apparently,
know
it's
that.
virtual. I don't know how they're going to do all that. But
That's kind of, well, they did it last time, right? For
I don't
2020.
know. All the security measures are going up. They're building the fences. They're cutting off roads. And
Right.
so there's going to be that going on. So we hired a car service to pick us up at the airport. And then we're going to book it down into the city and then check into the University Club. The wedding's on Saturday. All the activities happen there. It's going to be nice. We won't have to do much moving around. We'll
Yeah,
just
that
stay
would
right.
be awful. Try and get in the same time, the weekend of them leaving or something. Who knows? Yeah, it would be awful trying to deal with
Yeah, and
all
we're
the traffic.
leaving. We have direct flights this time, so we're leaving. I think we're getting breakfast in the city at the hotel or the club, and then we get a direct flight, so we're leaving around. I don't know. We're getting home at 8 or 9 in the evening, but it's
Oh, okay. All
it's
right.
not bad.
Yeah, should be good. Well, I
Yeah,
hope you enjoy yourselves. I love Chicago. Of the big three cities, New York, Chicago, and LA. I guess San Francisco's in there. It's kind of a toss-up between New York and Chicago,
you spend a lot of
honestly.
time in New York.
Yeah, as a kid especially, but even since then I've been there a few more times.
I
Uh,
can't stand it.
really? Why? Too busy? I wouldn't want
I
to live there.
I haven't been there in a long time. My
Yeah.
last time I was there is '84, and I we had lunch in the Twin Towers.
I've gone on the roof of the Twin Towers
Yeah, those
on the
elevators were pretty fast. That was amazing.
south one, the south one. Yeah, I've been on the Empire State Building a couple times and the Twin Towers once.
I just
Um,
didn't like New York City. Chicago, I've been there for
I like it.
15 years. I went to Chicago every year for 2 weeks over the
Oh, that was
summer.
the big conference or something.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, we went there once with the kids. We were driving to Minnesota and I think we stopped on the way back or the way up. I don't remember which way we were going, but we all had a great time there. So we want to go back at some point.
All right. Well, that's
But not
Chicago.
this weekend.
Yeah, Dave will be there. I'll represent.
Is Joe
But I
gonna
do
be
have a fun,
there?
huh?
Is Joe coming?
Big Joe, the big guy?
Yeah,
I don't know. Who
that's
knows?
interesting. That's a
That's
good
probably I
point.
wanted to have it virtual. Let me tell you a funny Chicago story. So, um, he wasn't a friend of mine. He was kind of a guy I felt sorry for back in Jacksonville.
Hope he's not listening.
No, I think he's dead. But
Oh,
he was a neighborhood kind of drunk, but
oh,
he was
okay.
functioning. He sat at the bar,
Yeah.
my local, but he loved the Cubs, and he just loved the Cubs. And so I was in Chicago one year, and I went to Harry Caray's restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Well, at the time, I don't know if you knew this or not, but
Speaking of drunks, but anyhow.
yeah. So I'm at the bar. I'm cashing out. Speaking of drunks, and I said, "Hey, how much for your t-shirts?" And he said like $30 or something back then. And I said, I think I'm gonna get one for a buddy of mine. He goes, "Okay, what size?" And so I don't know, large, actually, whatever it
Whatever.
was. And so he goes, "Hey, are you interested in if Mr. Carey signs it?" I said, "You can do that. Is he alive? Can you
Is
do
he
that?"
alive?
He goes, "Yeah, sure. Yeah,
He's got
sure.
a stamp.
We can do it for sure, no problem." So he pulls out his Sharpie and signs it right there on the bar. And I'm like, "He's Zach?" I said, and he goes, "No, he's dead. But this is what we do. So you got Harry Carey's signature." So I'm like, "Well, okay, my friend's not going to know the difference, right?" So I go back to Jacksonville, and I can't remember the guy's name. I said, "I got a special treat for you, man." I was in Chicago. He was asking me how was Chicago. We'd always go to the Cubs games. I went to high school with a fella, Ron Karkovice. He was a catcher for the White Sox.
Okay.
And so he played, I can't remember the guy he replaced on the White Sox, but he was a starting catcher for 9 years for the Chicago White Sox. So he did okay. And so we would come into town and they would either be playing the Cubs in Chicago in the city, or
Well, this
they
had to
would
be the
be down
90s.
they would be down on the south side, playing the White Sox. So he'd have tickets for us available every once in a while. I think we did that 2 or 3 times. But anyway, so I get home to Jacksonville and I said, "You're not going to believe this." And I showed him the shirt and I said, "This is yours." And I got a special treat. I just so happened I was there the same day Harry Carey was, and he didn't know he was dead. And I was like a hero. I was like, "Dave, you're my best friend." I'm like, "Well,
They really just signed. I was joking when I thought someone signed it.
No stamp." The guy pulls the Sharpie out. I was like, "Is this when you're supposed to do that?"
I thought you were going to tell me he was Harry Carey and you didn't recognize him, or something silly like that.
Hey,
Hey!
If the moon was made of spare ribs, would you eat it? Hey!
I didn't know you had a Harry Carey impersonation in your back pocket. There,
I
ready
used
to
to
go.
do it better, but
I
Will Ferrell does him pretty decent. But then there's another guy that does him perfect. I can't remember that guy's name though.
There's a ton of people out there who do that.
Hey, it's a yes or no question. If the moon was made of spare ribs, would you eat it? Anyway, Cubs win. Cubs win.
Oh,
good times. I was actually in the stadium though a couple times when he was calling the seventh inning stretch. That was pretty fun.
yeah. And now I'm trying to remember. I went once, but since it had
he was drunk too a lot.
Okay, I had to be the 2000s. I don't know when he passed though. Early 2000s
well, let's find out.
For me. Yeah.
Alexa, when did announcer Harry Carey die?
Harry Carey died on September 21st, 1947 at the age of 69 years.
Then who have we been listening to all these years?
That was a stand-in. Wow, is there Harry Carey Jr.?
Oh, you know what? There was the grandpa, and I worked with the grandson for a bit when I was doing broadcasting.
Alexa, when did Cubs announcer Harry Carey Jr. die?
This might answer your question. Harry Carey Jr. died on December 27th, 2012 at the age of 91 years.
Okay. And his grandson is now the announcer.
Yeah. So, Alexa, when did Cubs announcer Harry Carey Jr. retire from the Cubs?
From Ranker.com. He retired at age 88 in 2016, ending his record-breaking run as the team's play-by-play announcer.
Didn't he die in 2012?
Well, they propped him up, I guess, 2016.
Maybe I'll have to listen to it in playback and see what that.
Well, I was there during.
So I was there during one of his games then. So
yeah, I was there in the 90s.
I got to sit right behind the. I don't know what side the Cubs sit on, but right behind the third base dugout. So that's probably the visiting team. But I think most home teams are.
That stadium. I'm not a tremendous baseball fan. I love going to the park. I can't stand watching it on TV. But there's just something so Americana about going to the park,
especially an old one like that.
Yeah, the guys selling hot dogs and cold beers and peanuts, and it's just something truly American story about it.
We always so when I lived in Oakland, we'd go to Oakland A's games a lot, and the guy, there was this huge guy, probably bigger than you, that that always sold the hot dogs at these games, but he had the highest pitched voice. Hot dogs! Get your hot dogs! You'd
Probably
hear
had a great voice, but he did that all the time. He just wore his larynx out.
and it was we'd always know who was coming because we went quite often back then because my dad was in the paper game, so we always had tickets of some sort. Oh, I can't think of his name. I was at the game one night. Oh, I know his name. And I went down to the concession stand. I came back, and someone had sat in the first three seats of the row since I came back. Someone new, and a bunch of people were kind of standing around him. I had to say, "Excuse me," and I went by and I sat down. And my dad goes, "You know who that is?" I said, "No, it was Tom Flores
Of the Oakland?
of the Oakland Raiders. Yeah,
Yeah.
the coach of the Oakland Raiders had come in that night to watch an A's game.
That's cool.
So I thought there's a little brush of fame there.
I had
Hey,
some news
I
today.
told Tom Flores to get the hell out of my way.
Yeah, you said, how about them Raiders? Why don't you clean that act up?
Oh, sorry, I cut off your intro. Oh,
No,
by the
that's
way,
okay.
we better start wrapping it up here. I think we got 5 minutes. It's height check night here in the Woody household.
What are you calling it?
Height check.
Height?
Yeah, you know how you scribe a line on the wall behind you.
Are you shrinking?
Well, I've been holding steady for the last couple of years, but make sure I wear my tall shoes tonight.
We don't. How long have you lived in the house you're in?
26 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a goal of ours when we moved here.
To make it 26 or just live there a
Well,
long time?
long enough that our kids could all go to the same schools and system and that, so we wouldn't have to move in the middle of their school.
Well, you've
Because
done
that occurred
good.
to me, and I did not like it.
We didn't. Well, we
You moved to
moved.
Colorado.
Huh?
You moved to Colorado in your high school years, your formative years.
Just for 1 year. So
They
I
couldn't
mean,
let you live by yourself in O-Town to finish out school?
no, I grew up pretty much in the same house, like, as a child all my life. We didn't do that with my kids. They've turned out okay. I mean, it's not been a problem, but I was just thinking about the height check. I remember at my house there was one of the rooms that my dad had built like a little study,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in that room. It was somewhat of a pantry, kind of a catch-all, really, but that's where his little desk was, and that was the door frame that we all weighed, measured on,
Right.
and you could go back and see it, and it was cool to be an adult and see your name
Yeah.
as a child and your brothers and sister, and
I
we don't
can't
do that much
imagine
anymore.
the house I grew up in would have it on there still. But it'd
Well,
be
a lot of
funny to
those
go
times
back
people,
and see if they preserved it or
well,
something.
people would paint over them, but you could, if they didn't sand it off, sometimes depending
It'd
on
bleed
us
through.
kids, yeah, it's a depth of scratching it. But anyway, I just had a moment there. That's interesting that we kind of went back. Okay. Well, I don't know what we did today on the show.
Well, you were going to break into a story, and I just told you we need to hurry it up. Is it?
Well, I read something today, and I don't know if it's true, that Coach Belichick was coming to the Jaguars and that they'd fired Coach Peterson.
Hmm.
And I don't know. Let me look up something quick.
Well, you're doing that. I'll tell you. So everybody assumed Belichick would get hired this year because he's made it known that he's open to coaching again. And so
Jaguars coaching.
and
Yeah.
so the thought is, since he didn't land a job this year, it will be next year. But I can't see why they would do that to your current coach.
No, I mean it says here the new Jags coach is Doug Peterson, so that's the right guy.
Right. Yeah.
Is
Belichick coming on as an advisor, maybe, or something like that.
is Coach Belichick coming to the Jaguars? It says Bill Belichick will return as the Jacksonville Jaguars' next head coach. That's the headline of the article.
Is it a real
I don't know if it's
news
April
source?
Fool's or something. What is this?
Maybe it's a faux news source. Is it The Onion?
August 13th by Alamedad. What the hell this is?
I don't know. Doesn't sound legit.
GWSN is the news agency. It says, as the NFL season progresses, speculation about coaching changes often stirs up excitement and uncertainty. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team striving for solidarity to solidify the AFC South, the possibility of hiring Bill Belichick as the head coach after firing Doug Peterson has become a topic of growing interest. This potential shift could be driven by several factors. I
Money?
don't know if it's saying if we fire Peterson.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
Sounds
like when
weird.
people do that.
Maybe you're breaking news. Maybe you're spreading a rumor. I don't know at this point.
Well, I shared it with someone that's in the know, I thought, and I said, is this for true?
Right.
I don't know.
Belichick's too busy with his new girlfriend, man.
Yeah, did you see the picture of him on the front porch going out to get the paper out of the car or something? He's like in his underwear.
Oh, and 24-year-old cheerleader. He's Shaq living with. Isn't that crazy?
know.
He's what is he? 72 years old.
I mean, I don't know. Do you hats off to the guy for being able to pull it off, or is it just stupid? I don't know.
Or does she have a lot of daddy issues? I don't know what's going on.
It's a mixed bag, I'm sure.
It's it's a very bizarre situation. So anyhow,
Yeah.
why don't we wrap it up?
I think it's a grand idea.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm Dave,
I'm Woody.
and you've listened to a shortened version of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. We're going to try something new, I think. So tune in, listen, subscribe, like, follow, share on YouTube. Push the button, please. Woody would appreciate it very much. I don't know if we're growing in subscribers, but you can also listen to wherever you listen to podcasts on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and many
Apple.
more. I don't know if we're on Apple or not. We'll figure it
Well,
out.
wherever
But,
they're listening, they know that it's there.
yeah, We Can Help with Dave and Woody. Until next time, guard well the honor of the cross.